Hi, this is Tisch Aitken, and it is Saturday, October 8th, 2022. If you could please subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. This month has so much going on, and there is so much at play, but it can feel very hard to focus. So up until October 2nd, there were 6 planets retrograde. Mercury, which is a personal planet, retrograded initially on September 9th at 8 degrees of the cardinal air sign of Libra. And Libra is ruled by Venus. It's the planet of relationships, justice, balance, and love. It's a very relationship-oriented sign. And then it re-entered the mutable earth sign of Virgo on September 23rd, right after the fall equinox. And with Mercury retrograding in Libra, it's reassessing relationships and partnerships of value. When it retrograded in Virgo, it's re-examining habits and work and health and just daily regimen. And Mercury rules the sign of Virgo. And it's stationed direct on October 2nd with an opposition to Neptune. And Neptune has been a key player this fall because we've been, well, up until the equinox, we were in Virgo season, and Mars has been transiting in the mutable air sign of Gemini. That's a mutable sign that roams in many different directions, and it entered its shadow on August 20th when it got to 8 degrees of Gemini, where it's going to station direct on January 12th. And then in Virgo season, we had the Sun opposed Neptune on September 16th, and that can bring things to light. It can bring clarity. It can also dissolve things. Then Venus, which is the planet of relationships, which was also transiting in Virgo at that time, opposed Neptune on September 24th, and that can dissolve illusions around partnerships. It can again bring things to light, bring up hidden information, and it connects you to the dream, because right now things can feel very held back. It's very hard for me to write lately. I have a lot of ideas, and I have ever since Mars has been in Gemini, but my mind goes in many different directions. And Mars has been squaring Neptune for a while, and when it retrogrades at the end of this month, it's going to retrograde the day before Halloween on October 30th at 25 degrees and 37 minutes of the mutable air sign of Gemini, and it's going to set off Neptune as well, and it's going to square Neptune, and it's going to set off where Neptune, which is the planet of imagination, empathy, dreams, also delusion, illusion, fantasy, and deception. Neptune station at the end of June at 25 degrees of the mutable water sign of Pisces. So things at close to 25 degrees of the mutable signs. And the mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So Neptune in its rulership retrograded at the end of June. Mercury just stationed recently on October 2nd at 24 degrees of Virgo, opposing Neptune within a degree. So now, and Mercury opposed Neptune earlier in the season, and when Mars retrogrades, it's also going to set off Neptune. So a lot of things may seem difficult to contain the magic or the dream, because we are approaching the age of Pisces, and that will begin on March 7th when Saturn, which is how we structure and anchor our goals, enters the mutable water sign of Pisces. Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces. Neptune is the modern. And Neptune has been has again been playing very actively this last few weeks or so, even beyond that, and will still be a key player because Mars is now clashing with Neptune. Mars is how we get things done. It represents our passion and our drive to move ahead. It's in a sign that represents many choices, the sign of Gemini, and it's going to remain in Gemini through March 26th of 2023. That's a long time. It's 7 months in total that'll have been in the sign of Gemini. And it's excellent for ramping up your mind and learning things. It gets you very interested in a lot of subjects. But again, your mind can meander in many different directions, particularly when it's squaring Neptune, which is boundless. Neptune rules the ocean. But my feeling on this is that this retrograde time has been a time to really dig within on issues you want to heal around your relationships, around your habits. For some, for many, work has been very difficult. Even if you're doing what you love at this time, a lot of people are not able to do that right now, unfortunately, due to a lot of restrictions we've been experiencing. But even if you are, it's still very hard to get invigorated to do things with all of this energy being held back, all this fear. Neptune can definitely exaggerate your fear, and it can make you feel like you're unable to do things. It can make you doubt yourself. So I guess my message is to you to try as much as you can to tap into your imagination, tap into the subconscious mind, and magnetize what you're trying to achieve. Don't be delusional. Neptune is definitely bringing things to light. And this month, just to give you a glimpse, and I will definitely do more videos and write more about this. But so we have Mercury just stationed direct. Today, I forgot to even say, so we're building up to a full moon this weekend. Here's the Neptunian energy of my forgetting this. Pluto, which is another planet that's now stationing direct. Pluto, the planet of power, intensity, drama, death and regeneration, stations direct today at 5:56 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 26 degrees and 6 minutes of the mutable Earth sign of Virgo. We felt the buildup 5 days before, and we feel it 5 days after. This can intensify warlike energy, combative energy. North Korea just shot some missiles over Japan. Putin has been escalating in what he's been saying or threatening to escalate. And it just in our own lives can exaggerate the drama, the triangles. There can be major departures and endings this week, major beginnings. One begets the other. And so, but a lot of intensity. And we are also building up to a full moon that occurs in Aries. So the moon entered the Cardinal fire sign of Aries this morning at 11:57 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And Aries is ruled by the planet Mars, which is slowing down, is clashing with Neptune, which can make things seem definitely more directionless. Mars wants to charge ahead. Even in Gemini, it might be charging to 5 different areas at once, but it wants to move ahead. And so Mars is slowing down, but Mars rules the sign of Aries. Jupiter, which is the grand benefic, has been transiting in the sign of Aries since the middle of May, and it's going to return to the mutable water sign of Pisces on October 28th. So that's another change ahead. But right now, it is close to the world point. It's at 1 degrees of the cardinal fire sign of Aries. So tap into magnetizing through courage, because Neptune can make you doubt yourself, make you doubt others, and just make things seem very insecure and tenuous. And we all want security. And right now it can feel elusive. And so tap into your courage. It is a new time in the world. We're in the new age of Aquarius. Saturn and Uranus, which are the 2 rulers of Aquarius, are clashing in the sky strongly and have been since October 1st and will be for another few weeks. And that energy looms through the end of November. And that's collapsing of old structures, but also trying to structure the ingenuity. There is a lot of change, new beginnings, and trying to forge community, because that has been very difficult. And that's something we really want to focus on, because when we get to the age of Pisces, much focus on mental health, depression, addiction, suicide, and the need to heal in many different modalities. And Aquarius has been disruptive, it's been exciting, it's been very challenging, and there has been more of a drive and focus, I'd say, on the collective, on metaphysics. But I think when we get to the age of Pisces, it's more on love, unconditional love, empathy, working with crystals and manifesting work and feng shui, more of, I don't know, spiritual approaches in some ways too, I feel. And so I think that that's a big deal, because we need that healing very much. And we are in eclipse season right now too. So this full moon, so the moon entered Aries today. It meets up with Jupiter at 3:37 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That is good for tapping into the courage. Pluto stations direct at 5:56 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time today on October 8th. Big, intense weekend. There could be major endings, major breakups this weekend. And tomorrow, the full moon occurs at 4:55 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And I cast the chart for Washington, D.C. It has Pisces rising, which means that Neptune rules the chart. Jupiter is the ancient ruler. So again, Pisces energy in a sense. And Mercury is in the first house in Virgo, which it rules, still forming an opposition to Neptune. Mercury's in the house of partnerships, ruling that sector, opposing Neptune in the first house. Some deceit could get uncovered or hidden information. Maybe it helps to bring clarity for healing. That's hopefully what it does, but it can bring things to light, undoubtedly. With the Pluto energy, that can definitely uncover hidden information. Pluto rules the underworld, so that energy is very potent. This is when Pluto is at its strongest, and Pluto will be entering the sign of Aquarius next March, which is another big deal. So this is the last time it's going to be at 26 degrees of Capricorn. So finishing up what you've been working on the last 2 years with that. And this full moon, the moon is conjunct Chiron, the wounded healer. So again, emphasizing the need to heal, to feel courage with the moon in Aries. That's being fearless, if you're able to address the wounds. On the following, and in the chart, Venus and the Sun are traveling together. Venus is traveling behind the Sun until they meet up for a beautiful superior conjunction in Libra on October 22nd, and I will talk more about that. That's a really lucky date to circle on your calendar and to write down wishes around what you love and what you want to create, and that defaults back to when Venus was retrograde earlier in the year and met up with the Sun in Capricorn in January of this year. I think it was January 8th. And so it was retrograde at that time. It was an inferior conjunction, and Pluto was also, working with that story about eliminating things. This is more about creating something new. And the Venus and the Sun have not met up in Libra for this special 8-year cycle since the 1870s. So that's a big deal too. And this is very lucky. Venus rules the sign of Libra. But in this full moon chart, Venus is opposing Chiron, the wounded healer. It is conjunct the Sun in the house of relationships. But again, full moons can bring endings. It's a culmination. A new moon is more about a new beginning. On the day after the full moon, Chiron opposes Venus, so bringing up more painful issues. This is a very good healing full moon if you're able. Burn some candles, burn some Palo Santo to clear the air. If you're able, open up all the windows, and if you have Palo Santo or sage or even incense, go through every room and clear the energy. Maybe burn a candle if you have it, and focus on what you're impassioned about. Because with Mars retrograde, it is harder to charge ahead. Mercury is now direct. It will clear its shadow on October 17th, meaning that it clears where it retrograded initially on September 9th. That's helpful. Pluto is now direct. That is another planet direct. Mercury enters Libra on October 10th, pardon me, and it will be in Libra, I believe, through October 23rd. I have to check. But it's going to, now be in the sign of Libra, and it's going to clear its shadow on the 17th. And there's so much going on. And then we have eclipses. We have this beautiful Venus-Sun conjunction on October 22nd. We have Mars becomes out of bounds, I believe, on October 22nd too, until May 4th. I've got to check that. But that is when the planet exceeds the sun's path by declination and augments and exaggerates the Mars energy. So things being really over the top. And then we have a partial solar eclipse on October 25th. And that's going to be at 2 degrees of the fixed water sign of Scorpio. And Venus will be conjunct the new moon eclipse. Now it'll be in the sign of Scorpio. And that's going to be quite an intense energy as well. And then there will be a total lunar eclipse on November 8th. That's a big eclipse because it will be at 16 degrees of the fixed Earth sign of Taurus. It's going to be conjunct Uranus, the planet of chaos and upheaval, and the ruler of Aquarius in modern astrology. We got a lot ahead of us, and so we're just beginning. And I know this has been a very Neptunian narrative, and I think that makes sense. So listen, I wish you all a lot of luck. I am doing a reading special right now that I'll offer for a little while for the eclipses. Definitely, I think through the middle, end of November. It's a $65 hour reading. It's a phone reading. And I get into detail about what's happening with the eclipses and all of this ahead and into the year of 23. So I wish you a lot of luck and thank you. Take care.